Okay.
Yep.
The plank's in the middle, front wheels coming.
Oh shit, wheels in the middle of the plank.
Yep, got it. So pull.
Who's got the brake?
Me.
Back?
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, the last time I saw this bike was in Christchurch. I was involved in the earthquake. I was in the earthquake in Christchurch. I was in the square and heading down to the motorcycle shop where it was on display. And when I finally got there, an hour and a half after the earthquake had commenced and past all the rubble, and I got there and found the shop that it was at, and with it lying upside down with 130 other motorcycles all on their side, and it was just awful. It's absolutely the most iconic of all the Brittons. The first one it always is, of course, you know, and that's the very, very first one.
So when?
Yes.
The museum in Christchurch have been talking about putting it in there, but of course their museum is not ready, and maybe it won't be ready for a while. I had a talk to Tom Sturgis, the owner of this collection, and it crossed my mind that we would be perfect, a place, you know, a perfect kind of a marriage, that the Britain could be here, knowing that it would be well looked after. It's in a good place, it's in a lovely building and lovely surroundings, and the public can come along and see it. And what I've gathered you here tonight, I want to show you the best motorcycle in the world.
Okay. What things to do?
Oh, amazing response. Just people so enthusiastic after all these years. 20 years since John passed and 25 years since this bike was designed. So, you know, to have people so enthusiastic, and for Tom to want to include the bike in his wonderful collection and to display it so beautifully, it's very exciting. It definitely has a special place in my heart. This bike held all John's hopes and dreams for the Britain. And of course the bikes developed as the years went by, but this was his baby. This was the first one.
Most distinctive memory I have when they were building the bike was me holding little pieces of wire while John was gluing with a glue gun to make the shape of the fairing. It was all made with wire, like aluminium wire, and this is kind of work at 1 o'clock in the mornings, because we all had jobs. There was nobody working for John at that time, and so it was a volunteer effort, of course, and people were coming along with their own little areas of expertise. My expertise was holding the bit of wire while he did the gluing.
Oh, my John was like the Pied Piper and attracted wonderful people to help create his vision and dream. He couldn't have done it by himself. And, you know, John was, along with many others, instrumental in that being able to happen. So we have wonderful memories of the Britton team.
Yeah, John was very cheerful, intelligent, convivial guy, you know, a good person to meet. If we were talking engineering or talking technical stuff to do with the bike, he wasn't such a person that would say, this is the way I'm going to do it. If you said, oh, maybe, and he would listen, although he did have the plan in his mind of what he did want to do. It was purchased by Gil Simpson from Cardinal Network, who the proceeds from that bike helped John to get the funds to be able to build a smaller engine bike, and one with silencers and one that was more eligible for the places it needed to race. bike needed to be 1000cc. It had to be less than 1000cc, and this bike didn't qualify. And of course it didn't meet the sound regulations by about 3 million decibels, too much. I saw Britton Road quite a lot. I come from Mosgiel, down in the deep part of the South Island, just south of Dunedin, and Bert was from Invercargill. So I was riding at a lot of speed events that Bert was at and talking the pits and all that sort of stuff and share the stories. And Bert was very secretive about the bike or what went on inside it and all that. But Bert's bikes were, you could say, not that well prepared. And sometimes Bert would have to get the machine inspected by the scrutineers about 3 times before he'd let him ride the thing on the road, you know. Some parts of it were held together with cardboard and string and number 8 fencing wires stolen on the day from a fence nearby. That kind of thing. I'm exaggerating it, but people that know Bert will understand. And John Britton's bike was always immaculately prepared. I can remember at Daytona, and they pulled up, the Ducati team pulled into the pits, and they had 5 transporters. And one transporter was just for hospitality, you know, just with wine and grapes and stuff, and cheese. And they had another truck with 27 bikes in it, and 3 other trucks of spare parts. And we arrived from New Zealand with a crate and 3 people, and looking and going, wow, what are we doing here? And it was a lot of pleasure to go out on the racetrack and actually beat them. Andrew Stroud, the normal rider for the Britton, rode this bike in front of the funeral cortege of thousands of people on the street in Christchurch. And if you can picture or imagine, you know, the noise it made for a start, you know, in front of the hearse that came up into the cathedral. And I was sitting in the cathedral at the time, of course, you know, but there were a lot of people outside. But the noise inside the cathedral was tremendous. So the people outside must have got an earful.